So this lesson's on 8.b, which is graphing linear functions now using the intercepts, right? And the first thing we have to do before we can really get into this method of graphing is a couple of different things. Number one, what are the intercepts? Well, the first one we're going to talk about is the x-intercept. And this is basically the point where the line crosses the x-axis. So when I look, this point here, that is your x-intercept. And the reason it's the x-intercept is this line crosses the x-axis at that point. Now, any point that's on the x-axis, what you guys have to understand is the x-intercept will always have an x value, but the y value will always be 0 because any point on the x-axis always has a y value of 0. The second point is the y-intercept, and this is basically the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So if I go up here and I highlight the y-intercept, that's the point where the line crosses the y-axis. This is your y-intercept. And notice, anytime you're on the y-axis, what do we know is always true? X is always 0. So it'd be 0, comma, whatever y is. Now, before, right, we talked about the 3 different forms. And the one form we talked about was standard form. And standard form is ax plus by equals c. And if we had to use any other method of graphing, right, we would generally have to solve for y, whether we use table of values, slope and y-intercept. But what happens if solving for y is not easy? What could we do? Well, what we're going to do is use the intercepts. And whenever we talk about the intercepts, right, this means the x and y intercepts. Anytime we use this method, the one thing you need to know is we have to, one, run a test. And this test is basically just to determine if it's an efficient method to use. So, first, is it in standard form? And second, if you take c divided by a and it comes out to a non-fraction or a non-decimal, right? And same thing with c divided by b. If it comes out to an integer, means no fraction, no decimal, right? If it standard form, c divided by a is an integer, c divided by b is an integer. Now we can move on to finding the intercepts. And all we're going to do is first find the x-intercept, right? So we would find the x-intercept by letting y equal 0, solve for x. Here's 1 point, x comma 0. Then we're going to find the y-intercept by letting x equal 0, solve for y now, and your y-intercept will always be 0, whatever your y value is. Remember, you only need 2 points to graph a line. This gives you, right? This gives you 2 points. Once we have our 2 points, we plot them and graph our line. So let's look here. Test to see if the intercept is the best or if it's the most efficient method to graph the function. Well, is a in standard form? Check, right? If I take c divided by a, meaning this is a, this is b, this is c, right? Is 24 divided by 3 going to come out nice? Yes. Now I check c divided by b. Is 24 divided by -6 nice? Yes. Therefore, it would be a good method. When I look at b, standard form, check, right? If I look a, b, and c, is c divided by a going to turn out nice? 48 divided by -7? No. Therefore, this would not be the best method. And letter C, standard form, check. Is C divided by A going to come out nice? Negative 48 divided by 12, negative 4, we're good. Is C divided by B going to come out nice? Negative 48 divided by negative 8 is 6. Both check off, therefore yes, it is. So now next is just going through how do we find the intercepts now? Well, if I look here, right, to find example 2, find the y-intercept for this function, right? Well, what am I going to do? To find the y-intercept, I'm going to let x equal 0. So I'm going to come over here and replace x with 0. 6/7 times 0, sorry, I don't know where I got that from, minus 10. Well, 6/7 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 10 would be negative 10. My y-intercept then would be x is 0, y is negative 10. And that would be your y-intercept. The next one, find the x-intercept for the following equation, right? Now the x-intercept, what do? We let y equal 0. So I'm going to come over here, plug 0 in for y. And now what variable can I solve for? X. Guys, remember, to solve these type of equations, you have to move the variables to the left. So I'm going to subtract 4x. Negative 4x equals negative 20. Remember, variables on the left, constants on the right. Now, divide by negative 4. X is positive 5. So, my x-intercept here would be x is 5, right? Y is 0. And that would be my x-intercept. Now the next one, find the y-intercept for the function. Again, how do I find the y-intercept? I let x equal 0. So I come over here, y equals negative 8 times 0 minus 1 plus 6. Now I solve for y. Negative 8 times 0 minus 1 is negative 1 plus 6. Negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8 plus 6 would give you 14. Therefore, my y-intercept would be the ordered pair 0, 14. All right. Now, if you are not good with evaluating those, guys, do yourself a favor. Pull out the calculator. If I had to evaluate this function here, all I'm going to do is negative 8, open parentheses, 0 minus 1, close parentheses, plus 6. What is y? 14. And I am done. Now, how do we graph these? Well, does this one pass the test? I'm going to tell you yes, it does. So right away, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to find the x-intercept. How do I do that? Let y equal 0. So 6x plus 3 times 0 equals negative 24. This eliminates. 3 times 0 is 0. 6x equals negative 24. X equals negative 4. What's my x coordinate? Negative 4. What is y? 0. There's 1 point. Next, I find the y-intercept. How do I do that? Let x equal 0. So now 6 times 0 plus 3y equals negative 24. The x term eliminates. 3y equals negative 24. Divide by 3, you get negative 8. What's my ordered pair? X is 0, y is negative 8. Plot the ordered pair. I have my 2 points. So now I can sketch my line. Do another example, right? Standard form, 45 divided by 9 is good. 45 divided by negative 15 is good. So now I move on to the intercepts. Find the x-intercept. I'm going to let y equal 0. So right away, guys, think about it. If I let y equal 0, I'm basically going to cross this out. And I'm going to get 9x equals 45. Now I can solve for x. X equals 5. Ordered pair, x is 5, y is 0. Plot 5, 0. Now, next, find the y-intercept. What do? Let x equal 0. That eliminates the x term. But now, look what I have left here. I have negative 15y equals 45. Divide by negative 15. Y equals negative 3. X is 0. Y is negative 3. Plot your point. Sketch your line. And I am done. And again, the last example, right? The last example. I look, 36 divided by negative 18, good. 36 divided by negative 4, good. So, x-intercept. What do I cover up? Right? I'm going to let y equal 0. Cover up the y term. Negative 18x equals 36. Divide by negative 18, x equals negative 2. What do you get? Negative 2, 0. Now, I'm going to go ahead and graph using the y-intercept, right? Let x equal 0. Cross that out. Negative 4y equals 36. Divide by negative 4. Y is equal to negative 9. Ordered pair, 0, negative 9. Go ahead. Plot your points. Sketch your straight line. Okay. Go ahead, do the student practice, and let us know if you have questions.